Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'll be giving my top 10 horror films of the year. And I will have about 6 honorable mentions. So you'll have to bear with me as I scan through my movies here to pull up the posters for each one. But yeah, I think there's about 6. Now, there's going to be some films some people would classify as horror that would have on their horror list that I'm not going to have on mine. They would technically fall under horror, but I just feel like some others, like, well, for instance, I'll just give an instance, like The Blackening, I'm not going to have on my horror list. Films like Renfield, I'm not going to have on here. Cocaine Bear, 65, I will not have that on here. Meg 2, I will not have on this list. So, kind of get the drift of where I'm going with not going to be on my list. So, but we'll start with some honorable mentions and then lead into the tops. So, one of my first honorable mentions is a film that I went into knowing little to nothing about and had a decent time with. I've seen it in some people's best of the year, but it's an honorable mention for me, and that is Dark Harvest. This was a really fun film, very interesting film. Didn't quite make it into my best horror, but it is an honorable mention. Next is going to be an A24 film that I wanted a little more from, but still very good, and that is Talk to Me. It wasn't exactly what I expected it to be, so I was a little bummed. So that kind of hurt the score a little bit, and it kind of hurt the movie a little bit because it did drag a little, but I still had enough fun with it to where I could still rewatch it and enjoy it. So, honorable mention for Talk to Me. Next, like I said, bear with me as I scroll through these. I'm not going to count that one as a horror, actually. So we'll have one less, because I don't think I'm going to count that one as a horror. Rebirth. That was more of a thriller. I ain't going to put that as horror.
It doesn't say category.
Yeah, but I'm trying to go for like the... well, they'll see. Next is When Evil Lurks. I know this is going to be in the top 10 for a lot of horror fans, but for me, it does get an honorable mention. I did enjoy it, but it just wasn't quite up there. But When Evil Lurks is a very solid Spanish horror film that I would definitely recommend. Okay. Then we've got... I do count this horror comedy because it is more of a slasher than what The Blackening was, in my opinion. And that is Totally Killer. So much fun. I really would hope and pray this gets a physical release. We'll see. I don't know. I can only hope and pray, I guess, at this point. But really thoroughly enjoyed this quite a bit. Just didn't quite make the top 10 because of other stuff being just a little bit better. Next, the picture will load up here. Hang on. Hope it ain't messing up. Okay. Next is one that, honorable mention, that most people would probably have in their worst of the year, but it's an honorable mention for me for best of the year, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's. I really enjoyed this. Matthew Lillard was great. Can't wait to see the other 2 or however many they're going to make. To me, I just took that movie as just like a family horror film and had fun with it. I think a lot of people were expecting something more and got disappointed. Okay, now, let's see. one more honorable mention, and then looks like we'll crack into the top 10. I think this thing is going haywire. I may not be able to show the posters if it keeps doing this. I may just have to tell you what they are. Because Letterboxd is starting to go crazy again.
And it's out. It's been acting crazy.
Yeah. I'm just probably just going to have to tell what they are and just not show posters. Come on. I'll show the poster for this one at least if it'll bring it up. The last honorable mention is going to be a film that I don't remember much about the first one, but I thoroughly enjoyed the second one a lot more, and that is The Nun 2. Stop it. That is The Nun 2. This was a lot better than the first one. Okay, please work. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah. So here's the top 10. Like I said, you gotta bear with me because I gotta get through all the non-horror here because I didn't want to have to write it down and stuff. So now we get into the top 10 horror. Now this first up, number 10, is one that I really enjoyed, the original. I think it's a little quick to have a remake, but the remake is still a solid film. It brought in new elements that the first film did not have, while also being a similar story to the first one. So, and that is Malum. Really enjoyed this. I will be eventually getting the DVD here soon, because they did not release a Blu-ray that I know of this, at least that I'm aware of in the US. So, but yeah, number 10 is Malum. Next is one that I love possession films. So I enjoyed this one. I don't know how many will have this in their best of horror, but it is in mine. Come on, Letterboxd. Do your thing. I tell you, Letterboxd might get their crap together. And that is The Pope's Exorcist. This was just a really good possession film that I thoroughly had enjoyed all the way throughout. I thought the effects were really good, and the performances was well done as well. Performances was good as well, that's what I should say. Let's get that off there. I hope it comes back up. I will probably not be able to show the posters for the rest. I'll just tell you what they are, more than likely. Unless it was just getting overloaded because I've been using it so much. Let's see how this goes. Now, will you bring up the poster easily? Next, we enjoy this franchise. I know some people haven't liked some of the more recent ones. A lot of people didn't like this one, but we both did. And that is Insidious: The Red Door. A very good chapter. I wish it was the final chapter, but I think there's another one coming. But they just can't stop. Hollywood just can't stop giving us sequels and remakes because we keep watching them. Next is one that I really enjoyed as a great holiday slasher. One I can watch every year now, and that is Thanksgiving. Next is one that will be in a lot of people's worst horror of the year, but it's in my best, and that is The Exorcist Believer. I loved the how different it was. I thought the performances were really well done. We enjoyed the story. Even my wife loved this one, and she hates the Exorcist films, but she loved this one. So, Exorcist Believer. Next is one that my wife didn't love as much, but I really enjoyed, and I've seen it in a lot of people's best of horror lists, and it is in mine as well, and that is Cobweb. Really enjoyed this one. Just a very solid, somewhat original idea. At least it's not a sequel or a remake or something. We'll just say that. Next is Megan. Just a very fun killer doll film. Up next, we have Scream. Love Ghostface, so obviously they were going to be, this film was going to be in my best horror of the year. They'd have to really screw it up bad for it not to be. My runner-up for best horror movie of the year is It's a Wonderful Knife. This one and my number one can be flip-flopped, but if I'm putting them on the list and making something like this kind of a video, then this is my runner-up. And my number one, as I said, I love possession films. So, number one has to be Evil Dead Rise. Just love the Evil Dead franchise. Love this film. My number one horror of the year. So, that is everything for my number one, or my top horror of the year. So please come like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for our videos, and we'll see you on the next one.